Okay, we are live on one of two platforms today. And we're going to go on Amazon now. Get going there. All right. We are live. And we'll get started in a few minutes. So today we are taking a look at something that I saw at one of these industry events that I went to. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. It's a microphone, but it's like one of these jack of all trades kind of things. So what it does, let me get my YouTube thing up here. This is a microphone that has both an omnidirectional and a cardioid capsule on board. So it can be isolating or less isolating as need be. And additionally, this will work as a recording device. So it has 8 gigabytes of onboard memory. So it's kind of like a dual role sort of thing. So we're going to play around with this thing and see how it works. And we'll just start in a few minutes. I want to say hello to some friends who are popping in. Patrick Chang is here, and Romeric is here. It is Friday. Nick Versopa is here. William Wilkinson is here. All my usuals are popping in. Yeah, the YouTube thing was a little delayed. Usually they come right in. So we'll get started in a few minutes. But this thing looks really cool. Here, I'll take the first part of the box off here so you can see what it looks like. It's got that classic look to it. And you can mount it. So I've got my arm here that will mount it to it in a little bit. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. So we'll kick things off in a minute. And the build quality is exceptional on it. It's like really, it's got like a really nice solid construction. I got a couple of these dark Hershey Kisses I'm eating too. Martin Paolini is here. Me, P-Bro 3030. Mark Dell. Yes, awesome. Thank you, Mark, for all the Discord work. I appreciate it greatly. You kids and your newfound platforms, right? So this is it. And what's cool is that you can, we're not on it yet, so the sound you hear is not this microphone just yet. But it's got like a nice little stand. Doesn't it look cool? And then in the box, there is some more stuff. Let's take a look and see what else is in the box here. So there is a mic adapter for mounting it. Oh, so this is so you can attach it, although I think I need another adapter because my arm won't fit that. It's a longer thread, although maybe it just, let's see, I think this can screw out here. Let's see. I got to find a different thread. So hang on a second, folks. Let me go see if I can find what I need to get it mounted to this. Because the adapter they included does not appear to work with what I have on my desk here. That's a much bigger, so if I had a larger adapter, but I might have one somewhere. So let's see if I can find that there. Isn't this thing cool looking? I'll zoom in on it so you can get a good look at it while I'm looking around for an adapter. But I think this looks super cool. And I met them at this show in New York City I was at a few weeks ago. And I was looking, I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, it just looked cool. So the deal with this is that you've got 2 different pickup capsules. So it does cardioid or omni. So you have a choice of how you want to isolate, depending on your environment. Additionally, it has 8 gigabytes of onboard storage, so it can record independently with a battery. You can hook it up to your computer, obviously, with USB-C here in the back. And it's got some playback controls and stuff on the other side there. and it just looks cool. I just like the way it looks. I just got to find some adapter. Let me see if I can find that real quick. So I think I got one with that microphone we looked at from Elgato a few weeks ago. I'm pretty sure there was something that they had included. Oh, so that one had both sizes on it. That's what that one did. So we may not be able to mount it. That's okay, because I can figure out some other alternative. I'm just looking to see if I've got any kind of mounting adapter. Oh, I got one here. This one might work. Hang on. So I have have an adapter on my other mic here. This might actually work, maybe? Let's see. Yeah, I think I've got one here. This will screw in like this, and then I can make it work. There we go. Yeah, that should work. So then I can put this on. Let's see if this will fit on the arm here now. So let's see. Yeah, that can screw in like that, and I'm good. Perfect. All right, problem solved. It pays when you have so much extra AV gear around that you can make everything work. All right. And Mark says he's my age. Well then, you look youthful. We should all be back on ICQ. That's right. Or AOL Instant Messenger. Back in my day, we had AOL Instant Messenger, and that's what we ended up with. And Mark Dell, yeah, I have some thoughts. I think it's good that he's doing that. You know, it's funny. I've been on Floatplane for a while, and YouTube being YouTube, it never recommends Linus's videos to me, even though I'm subscribed to his channel. And I like what he does. I think he's got some really high-quality stuff. It's entertaining and informative. And what I really like about what he's doing is that, you know, he's tried to maintain, I think he's done a very good job of it, of a good balance of how to, you know, balance your sponsorships with editorial. He's done a really good job with that. So I'm really happy with what he's doing. And what he's doing now is he's trying to put together kind of like an engineering group to make it even more interesting and independent. So anything that brings more independence, I'm all in favor of. All right, so why don't we start playing with this thing? And the instruction sheet. Yeah, I think you're right, Mark. I think he. I think this is going to cost him a lot of money, and there's a lot of risk involved with it, especially if he gets into the weeds on these white papers. You know, video is far more profitable as a content mechanism. You know, like you're going to make, if you're thinking of like going into some kind of content creation, video is easily the most profitable, whether it's streaming or, you know, recorded videos or whatever. Second to that would be podcasting, but it's really hard with websites to make money, especially if you're just doing white papers. Now, there's not much in the way of documentation here. This is the user manual, so let's have a look at it. And when I do these live streams, in case you're just first tuning in, we do everything on a live stream here. Like, this is the moment I took it out of the box. So I have no experience with this product other than seeing it at a show. So I did meet the founder at the show. And, you know, I'm always looking for new and interesting things, and this intrigued me. So, basic instructions. Connect the Tula to your computer using the provided USB cable. I think whatever cable they had in the box was not very big, so I went with I have a longer one here that I've got hooked up to my vMix system. Open setting and select the Tula as your input source, yada yada. Mobile recorder. Turn on the Tula mic with the on-off button on the lower right-hand side. Set the gain in the same way described above. To record, press the button on the right. To pause, so you can pause. And to stop, okay. You remove the stand. Noise cancellation. So they have a, hang on a second, let me just, my wife is wanting to know if she can turn on the vacuum cleaner upstairs. So there's a noise cancellation feature, which I'll have to test in some way. And they're using a Clevgrand algorithm for that. And if you use the noise cancellation while you're recording, it keeps two files. So it has one that has the noise cancellation and one that doesn't. Isn't that cool? Just in case, right? And then you select the mode. Also, there's controls on both sides here. So this is gain up and down. So these are playback controls, skip forward and skip back. You have a mute button here. This is your noise cancellation, and then when you push this button, it goes into Omni mode. And then on the other side, so that's the other thing. So in addition to the built-in microphone, you can plug in an external microphone if you want. So I can test my Sennheiser system on this. So you can plug in an external mic. I don't know if it mixes though. I think it just reverts, it turns off the internal mic when you do that. This is volume up and down. So I'm assuming if you have headphones attached for monitoring. So this is I/O. So you can use this for headphones or use it as an input for a microphone. So we have some questions to answer. So let me just make out my document here. I'm going to get started on my document. And this is honestly, for what I see here, this doesn't feel like it's too expensive. I think it's $230, so it's going to be more than that Elgato one we looked at recently, but not much more. And it has, I think, some really neat functionality to it. All right, so this is the Tula mic. Yeah, so when I went out to New York City, this was honestly like the coolest thing I saw out of all the other things that were there. So I think this might be a fun project. I just think it looks cool. I like the classic look that it's got. All right, so headphone, I/O jack. Does it mix sources? I'm doubting it does. And then there's a battery built in. And I'm just looking through the rest of it here. Yeah, they don't give you much here. But let me go to the website real quick and just see if we can get a little bit more detail on it. And I'll take some more questions as we go here. And this is what's funny, is that when you look at it, it doesn't look like it's well made, like it's got a plastic look to it, but this is heavy. Like this is all metal. It's got weight to it. It feels like a really nice piece of equipment. And I like Jay's 2 cents also. I like to watch his stuff too. And Linus only hires Canadians, so I'm out of the running, but I don't think I'm qualified to work there. Yeah, so give me 1 second. I just want to look up one thing on this, and then we'll plug it in and see how it works. How do I use? There's an actual manual, so we have to get the firmware also. So there's a firmware available for it too. Hopefully we don't have to update the firmware. Oh, so when you plug it into your computer, you're going to get a drive icon. So let's go through so there's a little bit more on this manual here. I'll show you what I'm looking at here. This might be more marketing than anything else, but let's take a look. So my computer needs a nice cleaning here. So what I'm trying to figure out is if it supports, if it'll mix the input and output. Okay, so how do I use my Tula as a USB microphone? To use your Tula as a USB microphone, connect to a computer. All right, select your desired mic source. Uni is Tula's default mic source. To select Omni, okay, so short press the mic select button so that the LED is solidly illuminated. Okay, so to use a Tula with a lav mic, long press the mic select button for 3 seconds so that the LED is flashing. Adjust the gain. Okay, so this is a little more complicated. How do I use the mobile recorder? To use your recorder, select your desired mic source. Uni in most cases, the tool is default mic source. To select Omni, short press the mic select button so that the LED is solidly illuminated. To use the tool with a lav mic, long press. Okay, so it looks like it does not mix sources. And so the other question would be, can you record and output over USB at the same time? The tool does not have an onboard speaker, so to play back you have to have headphones plugged in. It can record for 12 hours. The front LED is a gain meter. A good level should be flashing green along with the audio source. Flickers of yellow signify that the gain should be turned down. Your tool can be used as both an input and output in your DAW. You have latency for your monitoring, So it shows up as a drive when you plug it in. And it supports any TRRS connection. And we did a video about that the other day with the iPhone, so we need an adapter for my Sennheiser thing. Because I think my Sennheiser mic is TRS, not TRRS, but I might be mistaken about that. And for firmware updates, they actually email it to you about that. So that's pretty cool. Let's see. All right, so that's some of this, the way some of this stuff works. So when that is on, okay, I think I'm getting this now. All right, so I think I've got what I need here. Let's take a look and see how this sounds now. And what we'll do is we're going to run this through my vMix system. So let me fish my cable out here. And then I'm going to rely on all of you to tell me how this sounds, because I'm going to be monitoring audio separately. What I want to do is kind of start off in its like regular mode. So just have it like in its default, like this is how you buy it without a stand, just to see how it does. And then we'll take it from there. So let me get my computer back open here so I can follow along with what you all have to say. And we'll go from there. All right, give me 1 second here. And now what I want to do is add an audio input on my vMix system. And I see microphone Tula audio, so I think that must be it. So I'm going to select that. Okay, so now it is getting some audio. And I'm probably, so am I echoing? No, I'm not echoing now. Okay, so, yes, I'm not. So I'm going to turn off my main audio. And it looks like it's a little low, but I'd love to hear what you all hear. And yeah, Mark Dell, if you have headphones on, let me know. Now, what I'm seeing here on the front is a little green light to indicate that I'm not peaking. So it sounds like that works. And I'm going to record something real quick and just play it back so I can hear it on my end. All right, so Zam hears a humming noise. So I think probably because it's not, right now it's in its omnidirectional mode, I think. And it could be picking up some of the room tone also. Because I'm going from I have a cardioid lavalier, which is now disabled. So it isolates better than maybe what this does. And it's also not very close to me. And if it's in cardioid mode, then that's probably what it is. All right, so let me record real quick just so I can hear what it sounds like. So I'm going to do a quick recording. And I'm going to talk a little bit and just hear how it sounds. I'm going to stop recording and I'm going to go into my recording thing and just play it back real quick and hear what it sounds like. So, and then you're going to hear what I just recorded. So here we go. And I'm going to mute the mic for what it sounds like. So I'm going to do a quick recording, and I'm going to talk a little bit and just hear how it sounds. I'm going to hear what it sounds like. So I'm going to do a quick recording, and I'm going to talk a little bit and just hear how it sounds. I'm going to okay. Not bad. Not bad. Okay, give me a second. I'm echoing. Hang on. I got to turn off my headphone loop back. And I think I know what you all are hearing. I'll turn it off in a second. But give me 1 second on the audio. Okay. Now, can I adjust the gain on this? So let's see if... Does that make it louder? It does. So that makes it louder. So I can adjust the gain on the device itself. And what you are all hearing... Are you getting desk noise? Yeah. All right. I'm going to mount it in a minute. What I wanted to do first was just see how it sounds with nothing else, just to get a feel for it. And I think the fan noise that you hear is likely my air handler in the back of the room, which is on right now. And so I'm going to switch modes here. So I'm not sure what the default mode is. All right, so now it's in the omnidirectional mode. Does that sound any better, or does it sound about the same? And sorry about that, Mark Dell, for blasting you out of existence there. Yeah, we're gonna have a little bit of handling going on here. So right now this is in omnidirectional, and then if I push it again, it is in cardioid mode. And I'll move it closer to me in a minute. So not as punchy, Mark Dell says. So this is Omni. And then I can, again, adjust everything to get into a better spot. Now, does the noise canceling work? So let's try that. So did that cut down the noise? Let me know, because I have noise canceling on right now. And then what I'm also going to do, while we are messing around here, I'm going to hit the record button. And so it looks like it can record and output over USB at the same time. I'm getting a lot of yeses about the noise reduction. So that's interesting. All right, so right now it's in Omni. And now I'm going to switch back to cardioid. Okay, so now we're presumably in cardioid mode, and see how that works. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to mount it on my bracket, and then I'll get a feel from all of you as to how all of this sounds. I'm going to stop recording real quick. If I hold it down again, it will stop recording, I think. Oh, it stopped. There we go. Okay. This thing's pretty cool. So everyone says cardioid sounds better. So right now I'm in cardioid mode, but Mark is hearing more noise on the cardioid. All right, so now what I want to do, let's move it closer to me. So I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to switch back. I'm switching back to my other microphone just so I don't hurt everybody's ears. So it looks like, oh, so now that's interesting. So once I stopped recording, it popped up the drive thing for me. So what I'm doing now is I am attaching the microphone to the bottom of this, or the adapter here. And this only goes in one way, they say. Okay, so now I've got their mic mount with my adapter, and then I can bring in my thing. So I'm going to actually, well, just twist it on here and see what happens. Yeah, I got to disconnect it. So I'm going to disconnect it from the computer briefly. And I'm sure it's not going to be happy about that. Hopefully my vMix system survives all this tinkering here. And we're going to attach it. And get, oops, I hit the record button again. Okay, so let me just get this situated here. It's a little loose on there. Oh, you know why? Because I twisted it. So let's put this back on. And this, again, this has a battery on it too. Thank you for the super chat, Keith Robinson. Much appreciated. As we tinker around with this little microphone here. Yeah, I thought this thing looked pretty cool. I think it's got a unique design. I'm chewing up the inside of it though. It has a unique design. Yes, that's the only thing. Like, I'm seeing plastic bits come off of this adapter, which that has me concerned a little bit. Apparently this goes in only one way. There it goes. Okay, so we twist that and then get it tight. So you can't twist the microphone because it's on this adapter thing. So there we go. Okay, need my wrench out. Okay, so we got that attached. I'm going to get the cable back in there. Where did the cable go? Got to follow my cable. There's a lot of cables in this office, by the way. If it's not apparent already. Let me go over the back here. And Keith Robinson said, how many lawns does it take to screw in a mic? Too many. As you all know, I'm not very good with these practical things. All right, so let's reattach the mic. And I have a feeling it's going to get a little blown out because, all right, so it is attached. And I'm not getting any audio, but I may have to reconnect it here. So let me just go and reattach everything. All right, so, you know, it's not showing up on, there it is, microphone tool audio. Okay, all right, so we're back. So now I'm going to turn down the gain because it's closer now. Check, check, check. I'm not using it yet. I'm just getting it adjusted. All right, so I'm going to turn it on. Let me turn off my other mic. Okay. So, how do I sound, baby? Do I sound better? I was purposely making my voice deeper. So let me do a recording of this, and I will talk into it and see how it sounds. And this is in the cardioid mode, very close to my face. And as you can see, it covers a lot of my face, which might actually be good for my ratings. All right, so that was a quick test recording. And I'm just going to play that back for you so I can listen to it also. So I'm going to mute. And I will talk into it and see how it sounds. And this is in the cardioid mode, very close to my face. And as you can see, it covers a lot of my face, which might actually be good for my ratings. And I will talk into it and see how it sounds. And this is in the cardioid mode, very close to my face. And as you can see, it covers a lot of my face, which might actually be good for my ratings. Yeah, so if you pop your P's a lot like I do, it could be an issue. So you probably would want a pop filter because for whatever reason, I am a P popper. So I think the pop filter is probably something you want to invest in. And let's see, so this is like up close. And then if we go further away, so it gets lower, right? So you have, you know, if you want like the least amount of noise, you know, obviously closer with the cardioid is good. And it looks like, according to Michael here, that I am shaking his desk. We have Jason joining us on Amazon, who says it sounds like a good mic. Yeah, it sounds really good, and I'm just listening to it on my monitor there. I'm going to actually record a little audio on this thing, but it sounds pretty good, I have to say. And Eric's Variety Channel is here. I did not get a chance to say hello to Eric. Patrick says Radio Lon. And yeah, I've got a pop filter somewhere in the house. I think that's definitely going to be needed with this one. Mark says, very rich, lots of breath. And I'm actually recording this so I can play it back on headphones later. What's neat is that when you connect it to your computer, it will go in as I'm playing around with this thing here. It will show up as both a microphone. I'm just writing some notes down here as we go. It'll show up as a microphone, but it will also show up as a speaker, so you can plug headphones in to monitor. But there's no speaker built in. And you'll need a TRRS adapter for its input, but it has an input. You can't mix it, though. It doesn't look like you can mix the inputs there. All right, so now I need your expertise again, everybody, because I am going to, Papa Lon. I'm going to turn on the Omni mode now. So I'm going to hit it right now. So this is now in Omni mode, omnidirectional mode. So let me know how it sounds to you now. I think it got a little lower, didn't it? And maybe I have to reset the gain on it or something. I'm not sure. All right, so that's Omni. And this is cardioid. So let me know which one you think sounds better. Abid wants to know, is it any better than the Blue Yeti? And I haven't tried the Blue Yeti, so I can't say. So maybe some Blue Yeti users in the chat can offer their feedback there. So Patrick says no bass on the Omni, a lot thinner, and massive difference. Keith, though, says it sounds less blown out and way less bass. So I wonder if maybe I should turn down. Let me turn down the gain a couple notches here. So let's go down 2 notches. All right, so now I'm 2 notches lower on cardioid. And let me know how that sounds. And then also what happens with this is it shows up as a drive on your computer. So I've got a bunch of, oh, interesting. So here, let me show you my screen here so you can see what it puts up on screen here. So let me go to local desktop capture, and I'll show you what I'm looking at. So when you plug it in, if you all can see that, let me minimize this so it doesn't get all confusing. When you plug it in, you get this thing here, like it's like a drive, and you've got a syslog here. So it's giving me a whole bunch of debug data, whatever that means. And additionally, you've got 2 different WAV files. So I was recording earlier, and one is with the noise reduction and the other one is without. So it actually keeps 2 audio tracks, one with reduced noise and one without. So everyone says that it sounds better now that I lowered the gain. And that's always the challenge, right? Is like trying to get a good match of audio. So that's cool. Okay, so everyone thinks that sounds good. So now, and I'm going to stop talking, which is hard for me to do. I'm going to stop talking, and let me know if you hear any noise. Because the air handler is going in the back of the room there. And Earthly says, if I talk with a 45-degree angle to avoid plosives, I'll get better results. So if I turn it, like maybe trying to avoid. So if I do it like that, is that what you're suggesting? Does that sound better? So hopefully that sounds better.
And Cindy is on Amazon chat, says, I placed an order this morning. Oh, so yeah, so unfortunately, Cindy, this is not customer service. I don't work for Amazon, so I can't help you there. But I would suggest going to your account button at the top, and you can find customer service in there. All right, so this is much better. Okay, and now if I turn, so noise cancel, here's why, because noise canceling was on. So let me turn off noise canceling and tell me what you hear next. And I can see the noise showing up here on my vMix bar here. All right, so point it at the corner of my mouth, 3 or so inches away. How's that? All right, so now you hear the fan noise. Now I'm going to turn it off, right? So, ready? 3, 2, 1. Pretty much knocks it out, I think, right? So, yeah, so hopefully, so I guess, so I should point it at the corner of my mouth like this. Is that, oh, I see. So the air is coming, my hot air is going away from the, outside the microphone, kind of like that. So it really vanishes the fan. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so usually what I do is I turn the fan off when I record a video because I do hear a light, even on my lavalier cardioid. And this is why I use the lavalier cardioid most of the time, is because it is very directional. So it prevents a lot of that noise. So hopefully this sounds better. How do I sound, everybody? Do I sound good? So I have to train myself to not speak into the microphone, but speak next to it. So maybe just a matter of getting it adjusted into a spot, or put my pop filter on. Jennifer Lee says the mic sounds great. I'm actually surprised by how good it sounds. Now, I haven't played it back through anything yet, but I am going to, actually, let me start recording again. So I'm going to record it again. This is in the, so right now I'm recording in cardioid mode with noise canceling on. And what's interesting is that I'm able to record on it, and I am sending audio into my stream right now at the same time, simultaneously. So everyone says, so some people who have subwoofers say that I sound like a talking subwoofer. So we may have to make some adjustments here. I'm actually eager to play this file back when I'm done, just to hear what it sounds like. So it's good. Okay, so now I'm going to switch it back into Omni mode. Here, let me just move this out of the way a little bit. Okay. All right, Grayson wants me to test the resonance by tapping on different parts of the microphone. Okay, so let's do that a little bit. So let me stop. Let me pause. I'm not sure what happened there. It just like went out. Oh. Okay, so guess what? If it's recording and you hit the pause recording button, it cuts out the the audio completely. So, all right, so let me start the test again. So I am touching the top, the front, the lower front, the back, and the sides. Oh, you're still hearing a buzz, huh? Is that better now? So let me hit that again and see what happens. Hang on. So let me hear what that sounds like. So I'm going to stop it. So it looks like if you pause, and what's funny is the YouTube chat is is delayed. So whenever I look on the thing, it's like I get the. So I don't know if anyone's hearing the buzz right now or not. So let me just turn it on my system real quick to see if I hear it, and we'll go from there. I think it's a cool mic though. You know what I like about it is it sounds great from what you're all telling me. I'll be the judge of that when I do some recording on it. Here, let me get. Okay, now I want to hear this for myself. Okay, I'm recording. So what it appears to do is it appears that it will just like it'll halt recording, and when you hit that pause button, it will stop the output. So if you can record and output simultaneously, but if you pause the recording, it will pause the audio output over USB. So they must be channeling it in through the same thing. And Grayson says it sounds better when I go out the side. Yeah, so I think it's something where you're definitely going to want to have a pop filter, especially for me because I pop everything. But yeah, it's kind of strange, right? It's cool that you can record, but if you hit that pause button, there is a firmware update. So I may want to check for that and see if that might make it better. But you all are giving me some good advice here on like doing the side thing. I think I look cooler talking out of the side of the mic than in front of it, right? So I'll give you a closer look at it too. Let me give you a different camera angle. So this is what it looks like. That's what it looks like. All right, so let's go. I'm recording, so let me stop recording. I'm gonna do a different recording here. And what we're gonna do right now, I'm gonna do an A/B test here. So the first thing I'm gonna do is start recording. It's not recording now. Hang on. You're still hearing me though. Yes. Okay. So there it goes. Okay. So I am recording now. This is with noise cancellation on. And I can, now when it records a file with noise cancellation and one without. Now what I want to do is start here in cardioid mode, and then I want to switch to omnidirectional. So now we're in omni mode, which sounds much different. And this is where I probably want to bump up the gain a little bit to get a better quality sound out of it. And now I'm going to turn omni mode off. And now we're back on the cardioid. So yeah, I'm very pleased with the quality, especially for the size of it. It's got like a nice vocal quality to it. And I think it looks cool. If that's a feature, it looks cool. So that's it. And then again, what you get out of it, I'll show you the file here in a second. So it appears as though you don't see the file until you, all right, so I'm going to hit stop. And then when you hit stop, it will then mount itself as a drive on your computer and you can pull the files off. So if I had any suggestion for this, it would be that I think it would be cooler if you could if you could just put an SD card in and just take the card out, right? Because that would certainly be a little bit easier to work with. And it's hard to know the battery level. I'm guessing there's something in it that can, maybe the light on the front. But the noise cancellation doesn't appear like it degrades the audio quality at all. So let me turn it off. So this is with it on. And this is with the noise cancellation off. So you're going to hear more of my room tone, right, when that's off. But it's not bad. Randall on the Amazon chat says it looks like a Star Trek communicator. It kind of does look like that. And it's got this cool stand. Here, let me switch over again, and I'll show you what it looks like on the desk.
Okay, so I'm back on my other mic. Not to get too jarring here. Sometimes when you switch audio sources, it gets very jarring, right? So what I can do is just twist this, and then it pulls off. And then it's got this neat little stand here. Let me show you the reverse angle here. And then it kind of looks like the classic late night talk show. Kind of late night talk show look here. But it's got a nice sound to it. I can't wait to play back the file and hear how it sounds. Mark says it doesn't sound crazy or processed. And Grayson agrees. The price point on this one, in the US, it is $229. And I think for the quality of the audio, and right now we're not on this in case you're just tuning in, I think the quality of the audio is quite good for what it is. And, oh, look, isn't that nice? So that stand like folds up. It's a metal stand, and it kind of magnetically attaches to the mic when you're done with it. So you could use it as like a handheld recorder. You can take the stand off just as easily, and then you've got your input here. So this will work for headphones and also for microphones. So you can plug a lavalier in, for example. And I'll test that out in a little bit. And this has a nice padding on it, so it doesn't, I mean, honestly, like the build on this is super nice. Like it feels super high quality. It feels like it's more expensive than it is. And I'm guessing this light in the back is the charging indicator. So I got to look up what all these lights mean. But it's pretty cool, I think. Yeah, there's not much to it. And then you've got the files on it when you're ready to download stuff. So why don't we try it on my iPad and see if it works just by plugging it in. Now what I have is, is there anything else in this box? I thought there was a USB cable in the box, but maybe I misidentified it. And I'm not sure what the battery life is on it either. I think it'll go like maybe 3 or 4 hours, maybe. We'll have to look that up. So let me just get a USB-C cable here, and we'll plug it into my iPad. So I've got my iPad mini that we can use for this project here. So let me just open it up here and get into it. I haven't logged into my iPad in a couple of days. I'll tell you what, I love the iPad mini. I have been really digging this. You know what I like about it? It's super small, but it does everything my iPad Pro does. So that's something that I've really liked about it. I have like the older iPad Pro, but my pencil works with it. It's small. It reminds me a lot of, you know, the Star Trek data pads that Captain Picard would use. So, and Mark likes my regular mic. Yeah, I think the lavalier, like that's what people are used to hearing me on. So I think that sounds more natural. It's not as bassy. So I think that makes a difference there. All right, so let me disconnect this from the computer. So let's close out that and this and unhook this. All right, so now we will try the iPad. I just got to grab a cable. Adam Louse is here. And Eric says that having met me in person, I don't have the baritone that this microphone conveys. So I think if I'm going to get into podcasting, I will have to switch to this mic because it'll sound more bassy. And I guess the word I would use for what I'm hearing and what you're describing is richness. That there's a real richness to the sound. And let me get a USB cable out here. And this one might work. No, that one won't work. I've got a million USB-C cables except when I need one. And then I don't have any. What's this one? Nope. And having one of the right length is always an issue. Nope, that one's not going to work. That one's a lightning cable. What's this one? This one is another lightning cable. And we got this thing here. Let's see, this one might work. Then you need a USB cable that can deliver data, right? Because I'm not sure all these do that. Let's see, that's this one. That's another lightning cable. Let's see, this one might work. All right, I think that one's going to do it, unless... Yeah, what was I going to do there? Okay, let's try this one. This one might be only a power cable, though. And if worse comes to worse, I will grab one of my Thunderbolt cables. Pro tip, a Thunderbolt 3 cable will work with anything. It does power delivery, it does everything. And Mark makes a very good point here. How do I tell the difference? I don't. I take a guess. And so I've got like a couple cables that do display, others don't. It's a real mess. It's a total mess. All right, so now I've got the iPad connected. I'm going to just load up GarageBand. I have to download it again. I don't use GarageBand unless I'm doing something like this. So let's download GarageBand real quick, and then we'll try this and see how it works. So I don't think there's, unless somebody has like a better idea for like a freeware audio recorder on the iPhone or on the iPad. Let me look and see if there's something else we can try. But we will plug it in and see how it works. I guess that voice recorder would work, right? Voice memo? Yeah, voice memos. Let's try that. Okay, continue. All right, so let's see. Super chat from Grayson Petty. Another good point here. Grayson's one of my audio experts. In post-production, you could probably adjust the EQ for the lavalier microphone to approximate the sound of the Tula mic, minus the proximity effect. And actually, you raise a good coincidental point, because I watched these guys on YouTube called Ripple Training, and they just did a whole video on matching mic audio to get one mic to sound like the other. It was a really good tutorial. So much so that I've bookmarked it because I know I'm going to be needing it at some point. So I'm definitely going to check that out. Okay. Well, this is cool. I didn't realize this, but the audio recorder app on the iPad here actually it actually connects over iCloud. All right, so let's try this here. So now I'm recording. Yeah, so it's definitely picking it up here. So check it out. Let me give you a 2-up here. High-tech 2-up. So I'm going to talk into this thing. Move it a little bit closer here. And check, check, check. Watch. See, it's definitely picking it up. So it's playing back. So right now the microphone is in cardioid mode. Whoops. And I'm talking to it and breaking my iPad in the process. And I'm going to stop recording here and see how it sounds. Turn up the volume on my iPad. Where's the volume's on the top? There we go. Oh, so you know what it is also? So here's the other thing with this. This is going to show up as headphones because the headphone jack This is a TRRS connector, so it does headphone and microphone simultaneously. So it is, to get it to play back, I need to adjust my audio output here. So let me tap on, can I force it to go to the speaker even though I got headphones plugged in? I guess not. So I'm going to disconnect it. The good news is it did record something using that mic. And I'm going to stop recording here and see how it sounds. Yeah, pretty good. Let's play it back here. See, it's definitely picking it up. So it's playing back. So right now the microphone is in cardioid mode. Whoops. And I'm talking to it and breaking my iPad in the process. And I'm going to stop recording here and see how it sounds. Yeah, it works. So you want to plug it into your iPad, plug it in. It just works. It's neat stuff. And Aaron has the same exact, see, this is exactly what I thought when I saw this. And this is what intrigued me. So just so all of you know, I go to these, they have these events in New York City occasionally called PepCom. And they're like, the best way to describe it is like a little mini CES. And so whenever they have one of these, I always go because there's always something like this there. And I was like, oh, this thing looks super cool. And my first reaction to it was, it must be expensive. And I think for its capabilities, it's pretty reasonably priced. It's $229. And it's got like a real classic look to it. And when I picked it up, I'm like, wow, this really feels like, well, it feels like well constructed. It's got a nice heavy build quality to it. And it looks good and it sounds great. And it's pretty reasonable. So you got a built-in recorder, you've got the ability to plug external microphones in. So it's good stuff. And there's an Amazon link in the video description. I'll take you right there. They got a couple of different colors. So they have a blue one, like a turquoise one, a red one, a white one, and a black one. So there is, somebody was mentioning it would look better in black, and there is one available in black if you want to check that out. I got the red one here. On Amazon, Roger P is wondering, is this an XLR mic? No, this is a USB mic. However, it will output over the 3.5 millimeter connector. So it does that as well. And as George points out here, the battery and storage make it more than just a mic. Yeah, I think this is a really killer little device. And it sounds really good. And Leah Quat wants to know, is this available for international delivery? I don't know if it is. I would check if you have Amazon in your region to see if it's available there. I am not sure. Mark wants to know, can you replace the battery? I'm guessing you could probably take it apart. There are screws in the back. And I guess the big question is, what's the battery life on it? So let's take a look at their FAQ here. I'm just looking through the... So it says 12 hours of recording time, but I think that might be the storage. Although they say it can record for 12 hours on its own, wherever you are. Yes, it says 12 hours of battery life. Continuous, provided you have it charged. So it can do that. And again, what I like about this is that you can output and record at the same time. So you've got a safe backup if something went wrong. So I think that's really cool. So it'll record, you've got that noise cancellation, which doesn't appear to impact anything. So yeah, it feels like a real winner to me. I just like the whole package here. And I'm just looking through some of the other features of it. And I'm going to look at the manual one more time. So there is a more robust manual online. Here, let me plug in my hub thing here and show you what I'm looking at. Yeah, this is, Marjorie P says this is not for me. And I don't think it is for everybody. But I think if you are getting into podcasting, or you're doing what I'm doing, you know, like I kind of like what they've put together here. Because I could see getting 2 of these and recording your podcast, and you can record each person's audio independently on each device. You get a little bit of metering with it, not much, because all it's got is like a green light on the front. So I'm going to need to demo all of that. But here, let me show you the manual so that you can get a feel for how this works. So bear with me here, folks, and I will get going here with that. But it does work with the iPad. Presumably it will work with the iPhone if you have the USB adapter for it. So that would work. And there seems like a lot of interest on Amazon viewers for this. I'm getting a good amount of viewership on this little guy. All right, so let me pull up my screen here. And let's pull it up on screen so you can see what it looks like. So this is the manual. The only mic you'll ever need. So here are the specs. 160 grams. It's got 8 gigabytes of internal storage. Now here it says 14 hours of recording. And on their website it says 12. So maybe it's 12 hours of battery life and you get a little bit more storage than it can record. So it's got a dedicated cardioid and omnidirectional ECM capsule, Burr Brown op amps, whatever. I'm sure some of you audiophiles will know what that is. A TI audio codec and a 3.5 millimeter jack that functions as both a headphone output and input for lavalier clip-on microphones. So the cardioid is the most common directional polar pattern. Yes, that would be directly in front of the capsule. So when you have it on cardioid, it's going to pick up directly in front. And the omnidirectional will pick up equally from all directions. And it's got this Clevger noise reduction. And the only way to get a true background noise cancellation without a lot of unpleasant effects is to use an advanced AI system that recognizes the target and removes the rest. Or you can make your room quieter. So when I do a video recording, I turn off my air handler because there's a little bit of a noise that you can hear when it's silent. So that's what I typically do. So they located a system that could be optimized to fit our processor, would provide some useful noise reduction, and wouldn't affect the audio in a negative way. And I think we found that in our recordings here, right? So it won't remove your screaming. I like this, the honesty of the marketing here. It won't remove your screaming kids or other loud background noises like the AI ones do, but it will take a normal sounding room and make it sound like a well-treated recording studio. And I think from what you're telling me, based on what we were just playing around with, it sounds like that's the case. And here's the how to use. So with the 2.45 firmware update, a long press of the mute button allows the mic audio to be turned on or off when monitoring with headphones. A long press enables noise reduction. Note, don't speak or make any sounds during... Oh, interesting. So it must learn when you push the button. The question is, does that get impacted by... does that get impacted by the noise of the mic being handled? Additionally, noise cancellation cannot be turned on or off during an active mobile recording, and that's because it saves both a noise reduced file and a raw file when using it in that mode. Mic select. When LED is off, the Tula is in its default UNA mode. So that would be the cardioid mode. A short press will turn it into Omni mode and illuminate the LED. This is often best when you want to record an entire room, yada yada. A long press will activate the lav mic input and cause the LED to flash on and off. That's how you know it's enabled there. Here's your function buttons. Now what they don't tell you here is that if you're recording while you're outputting, it also kills the mic when you hit the pause button. All right, USB mode. How do I use my Tula's USB microphone? We did that earlier. Mobile record mode. How much recording time will I get with Tula's internal memory? 12 hours. And you can check the battery level on the rear. It lights up for 5 seconds. Okay, so I have it on yellow. Mine was yellow, so it means it's got a low charge. And then you'll get an indicator on the battery on the front of it. I'm just reading through the rest of it here, skipping between tracks, firmware updates, the clock, LEDs, you get an indicator on the front. So the front left LED turns solid red when the Tula is in use, either as USB or a mobile recorder. When it's flashing red, that indicates the Tula's internal memory is full. The right button is basically your audio level. So it's all blinking lights is how you have to interpret that. But that's pretty neat. So I got to do a little bit more research on how all this stuff works. And I missed a bunch of questions here as we were going through all of it. But I'll give you a nice view of it here. Let me zoom in on it a little bit better. And we have it off right now. I'm on my other mic at the moment. So I just need to do a little bit more digging to make sure that it does indeed record and output via USB simultaneously. So I'm going to play around with that a little bit. Maybe I'll plug it into the Mac here and see how that works. Albert's wondering, would I recommend this for Twitch streaming or regular? I think, if anyone's in the market for a microphone, like that, I think this is one of these general purpose mics. So what I'm attracted to with this is a couple of things. One is that it's got a nice cardioid mic, as we heard. So the audio quality is very good on it. You can switch it from that cardioid, on the unidirectional pattern to a 360. So basically you have two mic capsules on board. So normally I would walk around with two different mics. This we won't have to worry about that. Second thing I like about it is that it has a recorder built in. So I can record what I am also streaming out to a computer, for example. So that's useful because you have that backup. And it's pretty small. It's compact. So I like that too. And Sim Architects is dealing with computer and GPU fans. Yeah, that's often an issue. When I built my production computer, I have big fans on it, so they're a lot quieter. So that is why I went that route. But you could certainly, you could move your desktop computer into a different room. And if we get some decent production software on M1 Macs, you probably won't hear them at all. And Mark, I think the clock is what it's using for the file date and time. And make a terrible clock. It probably would make a terrible clock. But yeah, this is more expensive than some of the other ones out there, but I think it has more utility. There's some discussion on warranties and whatnot in the chat. All right, so why don't we plug this back into my Mac now. And we'll do a little bit of experimentation on it, because I can better see how the file transfers work on this. So let's go and plug this into the Mac. I'll zoom out a little bit here. All right, so now I'm plugged in, and I should see this thing show up as a drive that I can access. Yeah, so I've got, here, let me throw this into a different window here. So what I have here, and I showed you this before, is how it presents the audio. I'm going to hit the record button. And so it looks like it can record. That's my first revelation. Output over USB at the same time. I'm going to hit the record. You're still here. So, and now we're back on the cardioid. Yeah, so it can easily switch back and forth. Sounds much different. And you're all right. You want to bump up the gain a little bit to get a better quality sound out of it. And now I'm going to. Yeah, so that sound is like night and day between the cardioid and the other one. You're still hearing me though, yes. Okay. On the cardioid. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I got to mess around a little bit more with it. So it is able to record simultaneously. I'm going to turn the noise reduction back on here again. All right, so we got that on. And then I'm going to load up Audacity on my Mac. Let me zoom out a little bit here and give you a view of that. And so before we were able to hit OK here. I'm going to select the Tula microphone. And I'm going to hit record on here. So I can record on the mic, which it's doing now. Now when I hit the record button, it just dismounted the drive. But I am recording now locally. And then if I hit the record button, oops, there goes my coffee. If I hit my record button on Audacity, so now you can see that I'm bringing audio in at the same time that I record on the unit itself. And I was very lucky just a second ago that my coffee did not spill onto the floor. So my heavy coffee mug here saved me. Okay, so now I'm going to hit the stop button. And so that'll stop recording. And what I want to do is disable the noise cancellation and see what impact that has on this Audacity recording. So now it's off. And now I'm going to turn it back on. And when that recording plays back, I can hear what it sounded like. All right, so let's take a look at what we just recorded here. And now I'm going to turn it back on. And when that recording plays back, I can hear what it sounded like on this Audacity record itself. And I was very lucky just a second ago that my coffee did not spill onto the floor. So my button. Yeah, sounds pretty good. So I got to figure out how to like demo this properly, but I think the way that we'll do that will be on the arm. Because just like the mic we looked at from Elgato recently, which was also a cardioid, you know, you really want to get that cardioid close to you to get the best range of sound. Because sometimes it's like, oh, I can just get this thing and put it on my desk and record stuff, and you can, but it's not going to sound as good if it's farther away in cardioid mode, right? So. All right. Mark says overkill for Zoom, right? Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, you probably don't need it for Zoom unless you're doing music stuff, you know? Mark says, I don't think I'd recommend this to someone who just wants a good mic. Yeah, I think this is a certain niche or niche, depending on how you say it. People that are looking for a microphone that is, I think for podcasters, this is a really good option because it's recording. It has a good quality cardioid microphone. It plugs into the computer. You can mount it on an arm. And especially if you're doing a lot of field production, because you can get a couple of these and you can run it to your computer, but you can also, again, have separate recordings on the unit itself along with the noise reduction. And I think that noise reduction is pretty useful. And I think the Sim Architect articulates this better than I just did, definitely, for sure. All right, give me one more second here. Yes, I think I'm in good shape here. I'm going to probably do a little bit more writing up of this. But this looks pretty neat. Stephen Morris is here. Hello there. So what they said here is that it's not going to get rid of a lot of that random noise. So I think if you've got a fan operating in the background, that sort of thing, I think it's going to handle that. It's got to be like kind of a constant sound. I have found, though, with cardioid mics, if you have the gain set properly and you get them close, when you have that scenario, you're going to have a pretty good isolating sound at an airport. So I think that's how I would recommend it there. Because I use a cardioid handheld mic when I'm going to those shows, especially CES, for example. And it does you still hear the background, but it really isolates my voice above it. So you get the sense of presence of being in a noisy place, but you're able to very clearly hear who's there, and that's what this will do for you. So it's not going to eliminate it, but what you do is you get the gain appropriate and then talk into it. And actually, what I want to try now is, so let me do a handheld test. So this is a test handheld to see how the mic sounds when you're handling it. So to kind of replicate maybe going out in the field with it or something like that. Because a lot of times you might use a Zoom recorder for this, and you have to handle the mic and move it around and stuff. And I'm curious if the handling noise will pick up on it. Let's see. Okay, so I just recorded a new file. And then I'm going to put this back on like so. And this only goes in one way. It is keyed. So it only goes in a certain way here. And it locks. All right, so now, what's interesting is that it appears as though it's back up here. Okay, good. All right, so let me hear what that just sounded like. And so we have one with noise reduction and one without. I'm going to hit the record button. And so it looks like it can record and output. Well, that's before. Hang on, let's do this one. So this is a test handheld to see how the mic sounds when you're handling it. So to kind of replicate maybe going out in the field with it or something like that. Because a lot of times you might use a Zoom recorder for this, and you have to handle the mic and move it around and stuff. And I'm curious if the handling noise will pick up on it. Let's see. Yeah, it definitely was picking up handling sounds, for sure. So this is a test handheld to see how the mic sounds when you're handling it. So to kind of replicate maybe going out in the field with it or something like that. Because a lot of times you might use a Zoom recorder for this. So I think what I might do in the review, I'm thinking about like how to review this. So we're gonna have to. So here's what we're gonna have to demo. We're gonna have to demo the cardioid mode, right? So we're gonna have to demo the cardioid mode. I'm just putting my list together here. So cardioid versus Omni. That's a big one to demo, right? We need to demo handling noise. And I think on the desk versus on a arm. And I've got This arm is like El Cheapo. So the arm that I'm using is like $19. And so you've got this spring, and it will translate noise. I don't have a shock mount on this, so this is something that would translate a lot of noise. But for me, this is fine because I can clamp it to the desk, and then when I'm done with it, I can get rid of it. So this is why I picked this one. And it's held up pretty well, considering that I abuse it and I get rid of it all the time. So handling noise for recordings, noise reduction test. And that's something I gotta think about how I'm gonna handle that one. What I might do is grab some like sound effects of a crowd noise and see how it handles that, perhaps. So I want to have like something really noisy that we can use to demo the effectiveness of it. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, because YouTube has got a bunch of sound effects, so I could just loop it. And I think some of that NVIDIA stuff will do pretty well. So Albert says it's not a good, yeah. You need one of those dish mics to do that. And Mark is suggesting maybe I walk around with it or something. That might work. And George is making a good point here. I think the portable functionality is underlooked, needing to prove what was said with high quality audio, something you don't think about. Yeah, I think the portability is really the big story with this one, and the fact that you've got that built-in recorder, I think, is pretty slick. And my battery is now in the green. Can I compare it to the Mac Pro mic in the review? I could try to do that, maybe. I think no matter what, this is going to be a big improvement over whatever mic you're using, for sure. Oh, Roger P. had a question. Does it have a pop filter? No, there's no pop filter built in. So I would probably suggest you get a pop filter. I'm pretty sure this thing came with one. I just don't know where it is. I've got one in the back somewhere. Yeah, record a podcast. Yeah, there you go. Record a podcast at a Best Buy somewhere. That could work out well. And Mark is saying that the MacBook Pro mic is a well-regarded mic. I think comparing it shows how much. That's a good point. I think if you're looking at this as like a Zoom mic or something. And what's kind of neat is you could record your output from while you're on the Zoom call. I think that's it's just as a backup. You know what I mean? Because people always want that. Because if you think about it, so think about it this way. Let's say you had two of these things. You're going out in the field. You're going to do an interview for your podcast, and you're going to normally you'd have your recorder with you. You're going to bring everything in. And what if something went wrong? To have it as a backup is useful. Skulls says, love the looks of it. Thought about getting one so this automatically works with Skype. Yeah, this shows up as a USB microphone. And then what's kind of neat is that if you're on Skype or whatever, the microphone input here is also a headphone output. So it'll output your computer's audio through the microphone. And you can also use it to monitor your outbound audio. Make a few more notes here. So yeah, it's pretty neat. What else we got here? Skulls thought it was wireless. No, this is not wireless. If you're recording just to it is, but it needs to be plugged in. So it's not like a Bluetooth mic or something like that. And Mark said, yeah, no. So when I plug this into the Mac, here, let me give you my computer screen again here. I'll pull up my audio list here. Yeah, let me show you what I see here. Check it out. It shows up as an audio source. Tula microphone. So I can send my max audio to the mic's headphone jack. And from what I was reading in the manual, this will also output a lag-free monitor at the same time. That was what I got from that instruction manual. I can double check that. So it's got some neat features on it. And I haven't, I have a blue mic somewhere, but I was never really pleased with the audio quality out of it. But it was an older one. It's about 10 years old, so perhaps they've improved it since then. But yeah, it's pretty neat. And Sim Architect says the Blue Yeti acts as an audio card, so it will do an output just like this does. Amazon customer says, does it have noise cancel? Yes, it does, right here on the side. And one of the neat things when you're recording audio is that it gives you, and I'll show you what it looks like here on the screen. If you are using the built-in recorder, it gives you one file raw and the other one with the noise reduction. So you don't have any real risk here. Because if you have the noise reduction enabled, it doesn't matter because you're going to get one without it enabled and one with it enabled. So I thought that's a neat, I'm glad they did that because I think people would want to have the raw file in addition to the non-noise. Of note, yeah, so Mark, we got to set that clock. I think that's what that clock thing is about. Of note, though, and this is important because they mentioned this on their in their FAQ, this is not one of those NVIDIA AI or the Apple AI noise cancellation where if somebody's got a leaf blower over your head, it gets rid of it. It doesn't do that. So this is going to be the air handler in the background. It's going to be some kind of constant low, I'm guessing low frequency or not so loud noise that it can filter out. So that's how it works. And you need to wind it up. Yeah, there's a little crank in the back to get it going. And Sim Architect says it's fab. Yeah, I thought that was cool that because I think they know their market, right? And I was talking to the guy who, he said these guys make, the parent company makes like some super high-end recording equipment, like super expensive stuff. And so they kind of know that market. And I think the podcasting market is not quite as discerning, but close. So that's why they did that. So yeah, good stuff. So I'm happy with it. I think I'm going to play around with it a little bit more. The big challenge is really going to figuring out how to review it. So I'm going to probably approach the review similar to how I did the mic from Elgato. Is how I'm going to do that. So we're going to start it off on the desk. And then we'll move it closer and kind of go from there. And I'm seeing a lot of share references in the chat here right now. So good stuff. Yeah, so a fun little microphone. I think it's pretty cool. All right. Well, I'm going to go take the dog for a walk. This has been 90 minutes already. Can you believe that we've done this much already? So I'm going to go take my dog for a walk, and I may even. See, here's the problem. Whenever I start a video at 4 o'clock, I'm like working until 7. So I think I'm going to probably shoot this tomorrow. I'm trying to think if I want to get into it right now. I'm like, I got enough here to go on, but I think I want to do a little bit more with it before I dive in. So yeah, it's cool. So this is the Tula mic. And it is $229 up on Amazon. So check it out. Works with our iPad, it works with our Macs, it works with our PCs, connects over USB. Looks pretty slick. Built-in noise cancellation. Playback controls built in. 12 hours of recording time with the battery and the storage. And yeah, I should try that, Albert. Walk around with the dog. So the problem is my dog is like a nut, so she pulls me all over the neighborhood. Mark wants to know if I ever used a Yubico. As a matter of fact, Mark, if you go back to one of my prior CESs, I interviewed Stina from Yubico. So I think on the Snippets channel, you can find my interview with her. But I do have a YubiKey. I got a bunch of them. She gave me like 5 of them, so I have them in my drawer over there. But I do like the YubiKeys. They are fully compliant with all the different standards that are out there. And I did a video about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, because on Windows, you can use the YubiKey to unlock your computer. So you don't even need a password. You can just stick the YubiKey in and unlock it if you have the key. So check it out. Yeah, so do a search for YubiKey on the channel. You'll see that. You will see that. So there you go. All right. Well, I think I've got enough to get started with here. So I am going to go take the dog for a walk. I'm going to do a little bit more research on this, kind of think about how I want to approach the review, and look for this one next week. Although if I get it, if I'm able to shoot it tomorrow, I might do it tomorrow, depending on what my family schedule is. Let's see. Yeah. Well, I got to take my daughter to dance class in the morning. And we got to drop another one off at a birthday party. And tomorrow might be tough. We'll see. Native Soul wants to know, is that a Mac Plus in the background? Does it still work? This is a Mac SE30 in the back. I actually have a Mac Plus in my closet over there, too. It does not work at the moment. The display is bad. I've got to get somebody to look at it. So that's my next project. Learn how to fix my own Mac. So the Mac itself works, but the display is not working properly right now. And then my 2GS back there, we just need a new power supply. That might be a fun, like, post-Christmas thing to do. So we'll see what we get with what we have time for there. All right. Well, that's the Tula mic. This was pretty fun. And I got the kids are home. I hear them screaming up there. That's right. Today's a play date. My little one's having her friend over, so that's what I'm hearing. And yeah, hang out on the Discord. I'm going to start doing more on the Discord. And we're going to work on doing a call-in show soon, too. And I've been thinking about the best way to do the call-ins. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a Twitter Spaces thing where you call into Twitter Spaces, because most people have Twitter or have an account somewhere. And then I can bring you up, and I should be able to route you through with NDI. That's the plan. So we'll see how that works. So that's coming up pretty soon as I have time to mess around with that. So yeah, good stuff. All right, so we'll be back with the Tula mic and go from there. And Mark said there's a way to do this on Discord. People can raise their hand on Discord. So let me ask you, Mark Dell, can we stream? So could we do the live stream to Discord, or do I have to pay for like premium something for that? Let me know about that. We can figure that out. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into the Discord, not right now at the moment, but I'm going to start typing things into the Discord with questions, and I can get some feedback from all of you. Because I feel like, yeah, I'm not sure. We'll have to figure it out. Oh, it's a quick question on the build on this. This is made out of, so this is plastic here, and the rest of it's metal. But it's super solid. It feels really, it feels like a very solidly constructed device. It's good stuff. Yeah, you got to check out my post that I did on Twitter about LGR, because he just reviewed this little mini DOS computer. It's a one-off, but it looks amazing. Somebody needs to like commercialize it because it looks incredible. All right, so we'll mess with it, Mark Dell. We'll figure it out. I just like, part of it is that I just don't know how many people have a Discord account. I know people like us do, us techies. Perhaps those who watch my stream have Discord. Yeah, let's try Discord. I just like the Twitter thing because I feel like more people who are not necessarily techie are into Twitter. And I might pick up more people on Twitter than I would on Discord because I have more people following me on Twitter. That was kind of the attraction to Twitter. And Sim Architect wants to know the link for the Discord. If you go to Lon.TV/Discord, you can check it out. So there you go. All right. Well, if you are just tuning in, you can rewind and see some of the things that we did with this. And I'm going to be doing a full review of this little microphone in a couple of days. So be on the lookout for that. And we'll go from there. All right. Oh, one last question. Sunny D wants to know, does my MacBook have any dead pixels? No, neither one of them do. Both are perfect. And this thing gets beat up quite a bit. You know what's funny? By the way, before I go, I have the MacBook Pro M1 Max, and I've got this M1 MacBook Air. I appreciate this computer even more now that I have the MacBook Pro Max, if that makes sense. And the reason is that for what I do, the MacBook Pro with the M1 Max doesn't feel all that much faster, to be honest with you. Like this thing is quick. Like the video export times and stuff, because I don't do a lot of fancy color grading or 3D effects and whatnot. This thing is pretty good. It's pretty amazing. So there you go. All right. Yeah, let's try the Twitter thing. Let's see, let's see if it even is on here. So my thought was to have like Twitter running on my iPad and then just kind of bring it in that way. I'm pretty sure this is the same. Oh, you know what's funny? It doesn't look like the iPad version has spaces. So I can tweet a photo. Yeah, so my phone has spaces. So I'll probably have to use my iPhone for that. All right, we'll figure that out. We'll get that working. All right. Well, I've got a ton of email now to look at. So let me go deal with that. Get this review put together, kind of think about all the things I'm going to do with that, and yeah, we'll go from there. All right. And we could do both, Mark. We could totally do that. I've got plenty of ways to do that. He's thinking, why? Yeah, I'm not selling. I'm honestly, like, I'm probably going to get rid of my iPad Pro because I use this a lot now. It's the size. The size is what did it for me because it's a little obviously bigger than my iPhone. It's the right size. It's like a size of a paperback versus a big piece of paper. I'm taking this to meetings. Like, it's just been really useful. And the handwriting recognition on it is really good. So, I have this little note application I've been using called TOT, T-O-T. So, for example, I'm working right now on my my list of my top products of the year. So this is kind of a little teaser of some of the things that I'm thinking about. Not all of these will make the cut, but here, let me go down here a little bit. I don't want to keep you all in suspense a little bit more here. But if I take out my pencil and just put it here, right? Oh, let's go down a little bit further here. Okay, so then if I put it down a little bit further here, and I just start writing, it'll do the handwriting recognition. It doesn't always get stuff correct all the time, but it's pretty good, Pretty good. So let's see, this is a test. Maybe it's not doing so good. But I use it. I've been using it. It's been pretty good. Not great, but pretty good. So, and then it charges on the side here. So when I want the pen to charge, it just attaches, and it charges that way. And I got the little case for it. But I just like the size of it. It's just really handy. All right. And Lance has the black one. So Lance has one of these, and he uses a lav mic on it also. And his recommendation is to get some extra mics. Yeah, it's got that flexibility because you can just pop the mic in the side. I'm not sure how long this has been around for, but like I said, I just happened to see this, and I've been playing around with it. So good stuff. And good deal on a Chromebook from Mark Smith. Check it out. All right, got to run. So I will catch you all on the flip side, and I hope you all have a great afternoon, and look out for the review of this Tula mic coming up soon. Talk to you in a little bit. Bye-bye.